How you feeling there, Mac? Good enough to fuck your mother!
You're listening to Comics Podcasting on the Edge of Civility.
All right.
I need to be wrong
Madame
about
and
buttons.
messieurs, how are you this evening?
What's up?
You had to just
I've
pull
missed
that out there, didn't you?
I've missed it. Like, you don't hear it anymore.
And there's a reason for that, dude. There really, really is.
Hey, Where's the Beef came back.
No, it didn't.
Oh, yeah, you can buy retro t-shirts of it.
Those are for fucking hipsters. That doesn't count. Anything that goes along with a $27 craft beer doesn't fucking count.
Dude, those are good.
Those are fucking expensive.
I've never had one, but they look
Disposable
good.
goddamn income at its best, right
Dude,
there.
your average hipster doesn't have that. That's the funny thing. It's like, that's their income. Of course, we were sitting there buying fucking draft beers for all our money. We got no food, but we can buy cheap beer. The economy has changed. The world hasn't, but the economy has.
You didn't get that. You got the cheap shit. I got the reasonable shit I could deal with at a price.
It's a volume business, baby.
It really is. So,
Hey, I taught you my one Guinness 30-pack of Miller High Light. Start with the Guinness, and then everything after that just makes you want to cry all the more. But it's a depressant anyway, so,
wow. What's that got to do with geek shit? Absolutely nothing. What does have to do with geek shit, is that this is episode 195 of The Mean Geek. Comics podcasting on the Edge of Civility.
195.
Forever and ever till kingdom come and beyond the heat death of the universe, I am your host, the Reverend. No, you're the Reverend. I've had too much scotch already.
Wow, dude, stealing my name.
I've already had too much scotch.
That's seriously intrusive. Like, what is a man but his name?
A lot more, really.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's fine. Call yourself whatever the fuck you
I'm
want.
the Tech Jedi, Adrian Hunter. Next to my big, dumb, half-drunk ass is the Reverend Mad Duck, Bill McGinnis.
When did this trend of sharing my actual name happen?
Hey, if I have to, you
No,
have to.
that's not. You share your own name. I've never volunteered that.
Well, okay, let's look at it from this perspective. Of the 6 listeners we have, 5 of them are never going to meet you. The other one isn't going to give a shit.
All right, fair enough.
So, there, whatever. So,
I'm just not real comfortable with putting myself out into the world. Hence why I'm such a fucking star at having my own internet broadcast. Do you know how upset I'd be if people actually listen to this shit?
I have no idea how many people actually listen to this shit.
Really? I honestly thought 6 was about accurate.
No, dummy. It's got... You don't count. It's 5.
Oh, good point. I've actually started to listen, ironically enough. Because I have a very long
there's
commute.
more action in the first 3 minutes of this movie than there was an hour of the last one.
Hey, 2 people got action in that movie.
Not that kind of action. This is shoot 'em up action.
Blood on the carpet.
Ew.
Fly on the wall.
Ew. At any rate, it's Marvel Week.
It is.
We'll get to that eventually. But I just wanted to share with you, Rev, just what a cool Twitter day this was.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Jim Zub started a hashtag last night. Kind of late, I guess, because I didn't see it when I went to bed. Called hashtag fourcomics. And his point was to have everybody detail 4 of the comics that meant the most to them in some way or another. A lot of people took that as their earliest comics. Others took it as their most inspirational comics that got them into the industry and things like that. And I'm sure you can figure out for the listeners most of what mine were.
I did. You did mention this earlier. I was able to reason out 2 specifically and 1 in general. I was wrong fairly dramatically about the 4th one. I correctly guessed,
And actually, we were so busy drinking, I didn't even tell you the fourth.
but it wasn't what I thought it was. I correctly guessed Dark Knight Returns 1
Yep.
and X-Men 205, the
Right.
Wounded Wolf. Mm-hmm. I assumed the third one was a Cap.
And
I did
that-
actually ask if there was more than one Batman, though, to be fair.
Yeah.
Like, so I hedged a little
No,
bit.
it's not a bad question when considering the audience.
Yeah. So I was unable to get the correct Cap comic, shockingly. And then I assumed the fourth one was Iron Man, and it was not.
It was not.
No, what was the fourth comic?
Well, let's say that Cap 317 was the third.
And that, you said, was Serpent Society?
Yes, that was the first
But that-
Cap I had purchased.
So that was the sentimental one in many
Yes.
ways.
And then the one that meant a lot to me was Official Handbook of the Marvel Universe.
Oh, I'm going to fucking glass you.
I learned so much about comics from that fucking book.
Yes, what not to read, the Grimm Brothers.
Well, yeah, shit,
Trigger
yeah.
Twins.
What the fuck is a MODOK? Told me what a MODOK was. I mean, who knows? If you just stumbled across MODOK on your third purchase ever of Iron Man,
Dude, you forget. Like, my first comic was a pile I found in the attic. I think they were my uncle's. And I read Tomb of Dracula 12, in which one of the vampire hunters gets murdered. Sweet Gene Colan art, though. Howard the Duck 8, in which he fights the Canadian beaver after the beaver caused a sex scandal between Howard and Beverly.
oh fucking
A
Gerber.
issue
That
I
was
want to
Gerber,
say,
right?
yeah,
That was Gerber.
and I believe again Gene Colan. A issue I want to say it's 35 of Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu,
Which
with
explains-
Brunaki, the little blue robot sidekick guy, in which somebody's trapped in a sand hourglass. Oh
which
God.
explains all of your comic
It
purchases
really does.
the last couple of
and,
years.
Brave and the Bold, and I definitely don't remember. I actually gave you my copy of this.
What?
Which was the Batman Sergeant Rock, where they meet the devil
Oh,
as
yeah.
Hitler.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
amazing. Yeah, so that was like my initial foray into comics was that. And then it was just buying stuff. I never bought new till years upon years later. I always bought, because that was my experience, like things that were older than
You.
well, yeah, at like flea markets and whatnot. I never bought new comics. I always bought things at like the flea market. I would get like Doctor Strange. I bought anything Gene Colan. I'm like, yeah, totally in. Night Force, fuck yes. I'm dumb.
You like what you like, baby.
Yeah. Well, no one liked Night Force.
Yeah, but you like Gene Colan.
I love, which is, as I've said, why I feel that Robert Downey Jr. should also play Doctor Strange with a slightly different mustache, because that's exactly how Gene Colan drew it. It's like, it's the same dude. Oh, well, fine. You want a difference? Look, I tweaked his mustache up. Fucking pay me $4 more.
Incredible. So,
Did you see
Yeah.
anybody else's?
tons more. There was a lot. The very first one I saw this morning had a Brave and the Bold in it, some Batman that was crucial to everybody in it, or not.
No.
I don't know. But then the guy's fourth one was the Walt Simonson all splash page issue of Thor.
If I were to say what the most influential, though, like obviously
There was a lot of people citing various issues of Crisis on Infinite
I
Earths.
see that. What really jumps out as being like the big four? I mean, you could take any of those that I just mentioned. Probably the Howard the Duck like warped my thinking very early on. So either that or Tomb of Dracula, because I gave Brave and the Bold. I even gave away. Obviously, you never got a Howard the Duck from me.
No,
And I
wouldn't
stopped collecting.
expect to.
But that's my point. So in Shang-Chi, I actually stopped collecting and then went back to and rebuilt almost an entire collection because I'm fucking pathetic. And that was long before you got, like, I sold you my stuff. Like, there
Yeah,
were no
yeah.
Shang-Chis in there.
Nope.
Like, when I started collecting that, you're like, where the fuck did this come from? I know all the stupid shit you like, and Shang-Chi has not been a regular conversation.
That was one of those ones that you're just like very quietly enjoying because it's yours. You feel the need to advertise. Yes, I'm a big Shang-Chi fan.
And then we had a podcast, and now it's all like, now I talk about all that shit. But probably the Howard the Duck or the Tomb of Dracula would be one of them, by far. And I'm not going to get the numbers right. Like, I'm not that dude, but the Simonson, you know exactly which one I'm going to say.
The one you just got? Or...
No. The fucking pinnacle Simonson comic issue is The Death of Scourge.
Oh, yeah.
By far. Fucking amazing. Like, I was like, holy shit, comics can do this? What in Sam fuck?
And to C Data Guy, our Twitter follower, who mentioned, Simonson, huh? Simonson Thors? I was thinking about getting those. Dude, fucking get them, man. Yeah. Go clean out whatever comic shop you have to get those. And do it soon. Because people are going to realize, oh my God, Simonson one day is just... And these books are 30 years old. They'll always be available. Yeah, but they're 30 years old at this point. Eventually, people are not going to give them away anymore.
I don't know, because the print runs, as you said, are so enormous.
They were. There's 300,000 plus of those.
I find those things everywhere. It's so now finding them all, wholly different.
Bag.
Yeah. This splash page one is an unholy mother. And let me tell you outright, what's the guy's name?
C Data Guy.
Yeah, that you're just going to have to pay real money for. That's a fucker. But you can get, like, any decent-sized dollar box, you can get a couple key Simonson Thors to kind of wet your whistle before you dive full force in.
Right, and you really should.
Yeah, no. I mean, and I was thinking about that, too, like, because we talk a lot about, because of my obsession with complete runs, the Simonson Thor and the Byrne Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
And I completed them last year, finally, after a fuckload of effort. And dude, the fucking Simonson ones that I needed were so unbelievably lame to finish. Like, I'd found the hard shit. It was just two that I didn't want to spend $40 on. Like, you can get these for $1, but $8 in shipping. Fuck off!
That's how they get you, baby.
With the Bashima art, for God's sake. Like, I'm not even getting Simonson art. Like, I just need you to complete the fucking whole. Like, that's all. You're a doorstop, basically. I want to read you, but you're basically fucking a small Dutch boy in front of a dike. You're filling a motherfucking hole.
Wow, that is the worst acting ever.
Yeah, no, this is
Did
not
nobody
good.
teach those? Have those two never kissed people before?
I don't know what Vengeance is, but I'm not feeling it's going to be a great film.
No.
But getting back to the whole streak thing and whatnot, there's one that we used to talk about a lot that we've kind of moved away from, and I feel that since you finished your Batman runs, this should move up your ladder. Because a lot of people aren't talking about it anymore, and it's great comics, and it's the Wade Flashes.
Oh, yeah. There were a couple people that had those on there today.
It's something you can get. I mean, you'd have to pay for, like, the first impulse of probably a bit more, shit like that, but I feel
it would
like
be hard to find all of them in a short period, but you can find big stretches.
Right, and it's a phenomenal run from beginning to end. It's quality comics. The later return period when he came back and was co-writing it with, was it Jeff Johns?
I thought it was Mr. Leaves, wasn't it?
No, he was before Wade.
Oh, that's right. So yeah,
no, it was somebody who went on to be a much bigger creator.
Yeah, it was Johns then.
But was not as much fun. But the original run, which started, in the 60s and ran through like 130 years, like, it was a big run.
That sounds right. Yeah.
But it was a run that we used to talk a lot about, and it's kind of vagued out. But you don't hear anybody really talk about anymore. No, and I know you had a decent start to it.
Right. No, I've got a decent chunk.
So I think that would be something, since you're looking, because your Star Wars fucking being next is a fucking hard road that you've taken.
Yes.
So,
but I've got probably 65%. So I mean, and I have no illusions about bothering to get number one. So
Well,
my
there's second
second
and-
print
there-
number 1 will suffice.
I have
quite
second printings
well.
of like 2, 5, and 7,
Yeah.
and I will accept that. It is, however, where are you in the late ones, like after 100?
That's
the
where
low print ones.
That's where it gets rough.
Because I'm
There are like
solid
3 of
on
them.
those, oddly enough.
There are like 3 of them. So yeah.
But yeah, so I
There
think
were a couple of people that had Star Wars on there too. These are very important books for me. They were.
Jackson.
Jakin did this. Jackson Guise did this.
No, I was talking about Jackson, the 6-foot
Jackson
killer
5
green rabbit.
Oh, Jackson. I pronounce it Jackson, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Because we don't have a pronunciation guide.
And thank fuck.
I'm telling you, I'm going to write a fucking comics pronunciation guide.
And you'll be wrong because you'll be guessing. And
No,
yeah.
I'm going to research that shit.
Really?
Yes, absolutely.
Dear Mr. Chaikin, how do you pronounce Jackson?
Dear
Mr.
Chaikin,
Jedi.
how do you pronounce Chaikin?
Dear Mr. Jedi,
No,
please
it's
fuck off.
Shaikan.
Shy cannot. No. All right, you got any nerd news? Any big thing going on?
I don't know what the fuck she is all about. I don't know who she is. I've never seen anything she's in. But Melissa Benoist is now Supergirl for TV.
Oh, I did see that. I guess she is an actress. She's been in other movies. Woohoo. And the Topless Robot article informed me, thanks so much for this, that you can find nude pictures of her pretty damn easily.
Wow, hey. No, I don't give a shit.
But-
and I can find lots of nude pictures of a lot of people really easily.
Yeah, but
so.
it's kind of sad that Supergirl, like, you know...
Well, these days, as sad as it is to say, who isn't leaking or getting stolen or doing any of that?
Stop fucking taking them! Like, goddamn!
No, that's victim blaming. You can't do that.
No, I'm not saying it's their fault that they're out there. I'm saying, if you don't do it, no one can steal it.
That's
Just
true.
like, shit, if you don't make any goddamn money, no one can take that from you either. Underachieving and proud, bitches.
Wow.
So I had seen that. Did you see about Star Trek, the big news there?
Yes, Simon Pegg is doing a writing assist on 3, which ought to be interesting and even less science-based than ever.
We may see Scotty get laid.
That might happen for once.
Is
I'm
he the
sure.
kind of cat who would set himself up that way? Like, oh yes.
Maybe. He had, 3 movies in a row that were, 100% him.
Right, but he didn't.
Every character in those was a fucking variation of him. So
He didn't treat himself very well.
I'm
in
pretty
the
sure
third one,
Scott
though.
is gonna get one of them blue chicks.
Dear Mr. Pegg, what is a Kate Upton alien?
What is a Kate Upton alien? He'll totally do that. He'll write her in there in a split second, and she'll be blue or green or some shite like that.
So, how do you propose
And,
that we?
It's going to take a whole new meaning to Captain. She's gonna blow.
Oh Jesus Christ!
You knew I was gonna go there, you right fucker, didn't ya?
You filthy.
You were
hobo.
waiting for that one, you shite.
I didn't even think of it because I don't care about Star Trek. Oh God! But yeah,
Too
that
much scotch.
definitely what I had for nerd news there. And,
I think we're ready to get on to books.
all right.
Well, since it's 18 minutes in with not a book in sight.
Oh, I love that.
And we're finally getting to the November caps. They're Marvels, November Marvels, starting with all new cap 1. So, Sam pretty much just sits around reflecting on inspirations before busting up a Hydra installation.
I enjoyed the tone of this. I thought it was a nice, light thing. I still think Captain Bird is ridiculous. I'm sorry. Captain America suddenly turning into an 800-year-old man is semi-logical in a weird kind of way. The rent came due, fine, I get that. But now, like...
And there really is... I would not have preferred Nomad be Cap. I will say that.
I was so pissed off to have to read Nomad, like the word. I'm like, oh, it's Cap's son. Because for a second there, I'm like, you're dead. We got rid of you, and no one's bringing you back because you're goddamn Nomad. You're out in the desert forever, Nomad. Why? Because you're a motherfucking nomad.
But eventually, Nomad apparently kills Batroc for some reason, which
Dude.
obviously is not true.
So angry. Like, I'm going to buy a copy of this issue. I'm going to fucking find Rick Remender. He's going to sign it for me, and then he's going to eat it. Like, I can't even believe. I considered punching you in the face. Like, you brought the issue where Batroc the Leaper died into my house, and you didn't consider the possibility of backlash?
There was nothing I could do because I fully believe in my heart that it's a fake. You know? And at the very least, it's temporary until Secret Wars reboots everything.
Oh my God, but yeah. And he was so odd, like, creme brulee? Like, yeah, motherfucking. The one thing Remender just nails is Batroc. It's like, let me kill that dude. I write him well. Good day.
But.
Did you worry, though? Were you a little concerned that I might flip out slightly?
No, because I wasn't concerned at all, because I'm a cynical fuck.
You're armed, aren't you?
Armed?
There's a weapon on you somewhere in case I come for you.
My dick.
Well, that's a tiny thing to be threatened by.
And yet you're frightened as hell of it.
Oh, yes. No, that's true. I am absolutely terrified that might be involved in my life in any way.
But. Zemo's back, and I love that dearly.
Yes. I'm very happy to see Zemo, and all the B-level cat villains they were kind of flinging out there, the possibility of was cool. I was so frustrated with the Batroc thing. I did like the banter. Like, they've really... Falcon is...
What?
He's lame. He's not... For years, he's been lame. It's somebody they've tried to make a player and haven't done well. You know, like, I can kind of fly and kind of fight, and I've got a wacky bird sidekick. Like... Wonder Man and Dynamite had more fucking powers to work with than you do, sir.
Yeah, so it's just his turn, that's all.
But they've moved, in the last 10 years, they've moved him up slowly by building the character up, as opposed to trying to push him down people's throats.
Yeah.
And this is by far the strongest Sam Wilson that you're seeing. And I like the feel of this book. I also feel like Remender, like, obviously... like, just likes this dude better than Cap or something. Didn't this feel more natural than him writing Cap?
It really did.
Like, do you remember the first Captain America Remender versus this? I mean, which of these felt...
All right, can we go to Bucky Barnes 2 now? Because I don't want to think about that.
But think about the moment where he's like, are you having frills right now? Like, that light... If that had been in Cap, one motherfucking time where Cap was making jokes with people... as opposed to trapped in a fucking ideological techno-virus wasteland with people with TVs for chests and fucking Ramita aliens. Like, balls. Balls to that. Deflated balls. To, reference current Patriot news. Yeah, I went
go away. Sport jock motherfucker. Yeah, anyway, so... It was fun. I liked it.
It was likable. I did like the interaction between Sam and Nomad to make that kind of interesting.
That was a bonus. It's very difficult to make Nomad interesting to me.
I did think, however, like you'd think that Sam would be a little interested in where his girl went. Like,
oh yeah, Jet Black. Yeah, he expressed no...
Didn't you think there would be a reference to that?
A little bit. I would have hoped, because, he went and got some, and then she's gone, and he's like, well, Hydra's here, I guess I'll punch them.
Oh, and by the way, fuck yes for Hydra day one. And Sam sucking with the shield was awesome. Like, it was a good book. I just don't think that it's going to last. Spidey-Ock, how long did that go for?
That was year? Twice a month, so that ended up being like 33 issues.
And so about a year and a half.
Yeah.
Which was really impressive.
Yeah.
Unbelievably, shockingly so. For a million years, I didn't think it would last that long.
No, that did extend itself quite a bit.
So, bravissimo for that one. Do I think this is going to be around a year and a half? No, I do not.
Probably not. Well, I mean, again, because of Secret Wars, who the fuck knows? And pretty sure that the buzz saying that it's a total reboot is probably right on.
Oh, man.
Knowing the management of Marvel, it's...
The New 52 Part 2.
Yeah. Except, the New 52, it's not even going to be the New 52 anymore because they got this convergence thing going where the tagline is, well, the company line is, everything happened, everything matters.
So they're obviously...
From everywhere. From all time. So that philosophy is what got us the fucking Crisis on Infinite Earths to begin with.
It is a little troubling, but if it kills the New 52, I have to kind of support it. Like,
I do worry about the next generation of fucking DC
of course.
books.
I mean, the thing is, Marvel, on an editing level, Marvel is ahead of DC. For whatever reason, DC books are speaking to people, maybe because they are younger and we are not.
Yeah, that's probably it. Almost certainly.
And a lot of their fans are less cynical than, say, you or I.
That's almost certainly true as well.
And there's a lot of key books that we didn't touch or didn't click into.
Yeah.
Although one of them was Suicide Squad, and we read about 5 of those, and it's like, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But
Nope.
Animal Man, freaking Swamp Thing, there were a lot of huge books, and we're like, hey, let's try G.I. Zombie. Because we're dumb. We're dumb people.
We're also deceptively optimistic about books. We looked at G.I. Zombie and we said, we will try it. Sure, why not? G.I. Zombie is a weird enough property that it could be a hidden gem. It fucking wasn't.
Do you think that we have limited ourselves to a degree with the New 52? And it's not even new anymore. And you can't say the 52, that just sounds fucking ridiculously stupid.
Yeah.
But
So
do you
just
think
DC.
we limited ourselves by our pre-prejudices?
Like, certainly.
The one issue of Aquaman that we read later on, I know you read like almost all the firsts, hanging out in comic shops to see what was going on.
Yeah.
Was pretty well done.
Yeah.
Confusing as fuck.
But
we hate Aquaman, so we didn't go there. I guess that's where I'm going. You know what I mean? Like we're like, oh, these are the characters we like, not the teams or the hot books. It's like, no, we're gonna read 14 Batman books because we know we like him, and we'll try Superman, we'll try Flash, but then Flash did okay, and we're like, I hate this.
If
clone.
you remember, we started with 16, 18.
Close to it. I mean, a couple were just...
That is a shitload of books from one company, man.
Some of them were bad choices. Black Hawks. I thought I forgot about that one, though. Men of War.
Ugh. Blech. Anyway, but this is Marvel month. So those are just parallels in choices of books.
But the point I was trying to get to is I feel like Marvel has a much stronger editing core staff. That's good. So, if they're gonna reinvent the wheel unnecessarily for the 52nd time,
they can probably do it better than DC.
That's my point. It's gonna be slightly. People are gonna be on the same page with the character.
Yeah, because they have things like writers' summits, they have retreats, they have meetings.
So,
whereas DC is just like, I'm an editor and you're gonna do this. And I'm going to let anybody over me trample all over you.
Yeah, you go do whatever.
To the point where you will quit the fucking book.
Right. So, I have to say, like, Marvel's probably going to come on in a coherent way.
Yeah.
DC
yeah.
did not.
I think they're going to do it a lot more smartly. I'm still going to be irritated by it.
Oh, of course. Well, you know what? It's
I'm
more
me.
number ones. You love those. They're so much fun. And maybe it's a chance for us to revisit. Like, we don't have the Hulk anymore. We don't have the Fantastic Four. We don't have the Avengers. We barely have Cap. And quite honestly, when we get to Superior Iron Man, I'm going to do some going off.
All right, so let's get Bucky Barnes out of the way so you can do that.
Oh, hey, speaking of going off.
Another fucking drug trip that didn't make any goddamn sense to me. I am unfortunately done with this book.
The level that everything I loved about the Winter Soldier went away so quickly, it is mostly a painted book.
Yeah, and I was just thinking that I do pretty close to adore this art in here. This is great, great artwork.
It is good looking. And you have Bucky Barnes going up against... He assumes that the person who tried to kill him was Loki. So he goes up against him, fights some frost giants that turn into bees, because that's always cool. And meanwhile, the bullet analysis is going on, and Loki... Like, I know that you're a super assassin who's been hiding out in a block of ice when you're not busy murdering allied fucking forces for the last 45 years and all. But if you don't know that Loki lies, like you were a superhero for a good 2 years.
Yeah, you should have caught up on that at least, for
Like,
God's sake.
if you read one profile, like even if you ran into the wrecking crew, like you had to know, okay, Loki, kind of a douche. So this whole conversation, like Loki's going to lie to you. He's going to tell you some truth to fuck with you more.
Right.
Because the really good liars sprinkle their lies with truth. It's like little truth nuggets on top of huge piles of fucking lie pie.
Lie pie.
And Loki bakes a phenomenal pie, bitches. But
That's an excerpt.
all of the things that you're reading here don't fucking matter, because there's no way that fucking space age Bucky Barnes flying around stopping aliens before they attack the world is going to last like good day with this incredibly bad concept.
I don't know who greenlit this thing. I don't know who was desperate. And I'm sure with different direction, Alice Cott would do different things and more interesting
I don't know.
things.
It's like, what if
I'm
we
trying not to just say the guy's a shit writer.
Well, he's not. Like, because...
Because I don't think he is.
Right, he's literally not. Like, I hate this concept. However, he did the Loki world-building, lying, weird world thing quite well. Like, it's like, hey, let's take Captain America, have him fuck the entire cast of Unwritten, and whatever shits out of them will turn into a Bucky Barnes book.
Wow.
And I don't want to read that. Like, nothing about that. I said it, and nothing about that sounds okay to me.
I don't think we got to say anything more about that, do we?
Yeah, I may have just fucking dropped the axe on that. How many more of those damn things do I have to look forward to?
One, possibly two.
It is a little confusing sometimes.
You know, you got to do it so far ahead of fucking time.
Yeah, 3 months.
At any rate, I know you hate this idea, but I like the new Thor currently. I think that so far the dialogue has been fine, the plot development's been okay. Currently, Thor's on the moon contemplating Mjolnir, and her thoughts make me think not Frigga.
Yeah, no, it doesn't read that way at all. Although, it doesn't read like anything, really. It's as if a waitress picked up the hammer. A random, likable girl with no fucking background.
No, she's definitely an Asgardian, so I don't think she's an average girl.
Well, she can be an average Asgardian waitress. They got restaurants. We've seen the fucking Warriors 3 at plenty of them.
I think she might be nobility. I got a feeling, a sense that she might be some type of nobility.
The thing is, we've been reading Thor pretty consistently.
Because it's been consistently awesome for several years.
So, I don't like the fact that right now it feels like the character's coming in completely out of left field.
Well, it totally is. That's totally true.
If somebody was able to pick up the hammer and around and close enough to the hammer to pick it up, I mean,
somebody else should have noticed that.
There's probably hints of it in Axis, but didn't touch that.
Yeah.
So we're behind the 8 ball in terms of that. I don't dislike the character. I just, again, I don't think fucking female Thor is going to be around a long time.
No, she isn't. She's totally not.
You know, she's the next Red Grant, and it's like, I don't fucking care. Red Grant was the red-haired guy who turned into Thor for a while.
Red Granite.
Grant, not Red Granite. It sounds like a fucking bad guy from a Superman cartoon.
That's why I was questioning it.
Yep.
But when was that?
He was around for a bit. If you remember,
Was that
Gary Frank's Hulk? That was the Thor that fought Hulk when they went to Asgard. Nothing.
No.
No.
Was that 90s?
Well, I mean,
Very late
Peter David
80s.
and Gary Frank's Hulk was
through most of the 80s and 90s.
Yes, it was 90s. It was right after the wedding and the bachelor party and all those key issues.
Ah. No, I wasn't getting Thor back then because
No, but this was
Friends
in-
had pissed me off.
Dude, Ron Friends was on Thor forever. Forever. Like,
I was pretty much done. Momentum kept me going for about a year and a half, but once Simonson left, I was like, I don't give a fuck.
You didn't give a fuck about Thor before Simonson either, though. Like, it's kind of
I
cool
didn't
now.
know Thor before Simonson.
Really? You'd never seen
Yeah,
it? Huh.
he was already well into his run when I started buying comics to begin with.
But it's nice to find, like, a random Thor old one just for the fuck of it.
Yeah.
But they're usually awful.
Yeah,
It's-
I have a lot of them, and they're terrible most of the time.
Yeah, like, you're like, ooh, fun, I'll read this. And you enjoy reading it because it is fun. But not in a good, like, oh, I fucking need to follow this storyline with the next one. No.
No, never.
No.
That's totally not it, man.
Never been said.
I love the covers more than anything else.
You get into, dude, Asgardian dialogue is like, it's like bad fucking Shakespeare.
The number of writers who can't get the difference between thee and thou straight is staggering. It's like, did you not go to fucking Sunday school?
Not to study grammar.
No, but, I mean, you get exposed to a particular mode of speaking long enough, you fucking get it!
Well, it's interesting to me that your face somehow leads you from Sunday school to Asgard.
Well, thee and thous. There's a lot of thees and thous in the fucking Bible.
I've never read the Bible.
Never, not like...
Not in its entirety.
Well, certainly. No, who fucking has? The Pope hasn't read the thing in the entirety.
Really?
Dude, get through Numbers, you're a saint.
Okay.
That's why that's one of the criteria. That's why so many people get rejected. They can't get through Numbers.
I did not know that.
That's
I always
not
thought it
what-
was because they didn't have
No,
miracles.
that's not true at all. It's Judges.
Oh, Judges.
Oh, wait, no, Deuteronomy. No, there's so many fucking books about you can't get through.
Wasn't
It's
Deuteronomy that
impossible.
huge robot that kid flew around?
That's funny, and I like that, but no.
You'd read that book, though.
I would.
Johnny Wopper and Deuteronomy, the flying robot. And there's your title.
But eventually, she stumbles across some Asgardians and the Avengers, and then Frost Giants show up, because you can't have Asgardian shit without Frost Giants these days. I'm getting kind of bored of Frost Giants.
I don't mind it because you still have Ulick out there. You still have Malekith. Frost Giant. Like, it's all...
Who shows up in this one?
Right, yes. You've got all these core villains. I am getting tired of fucking... Who wants to be a Minotaur? Like, that dude...
Agar needs to go. I
Like-
hate that character.
like, the whole Roxanne, we're destroying the world by the environment. Like, that guy kills me. It's like, I love this suit so much, I murdered the man who made it as soon as he was done. And I'm going to destroy it to turn into a Minotaur and gore some fucking giants.
It's just so
Oh, I'm like, just step on it, please. Please hit him with a giant frost fist.
But they introduced a bit of tension at the end of the book when she threw the hammer and the blast doors closed before it came back.
Yeah, I'm very curious.
So
what
now
happens?
it's just banging up against the blast doors trying to get through, and it can't do it. And that amuses me.
Well, I am going to tell you a little something about this book, but not till we get to a separate book, which is connected but not actually connected.
All right.
And I will let you know when that happens.
Well, I guess we should go to Spider-Woman 1 then.
Now,
You didn't like Spider-Woman 1, and I didn't either, in the sense...
well, I paid
that-
for this, so it's a little more irksome.
Teeny bit. It bugs me in the sense that they couldn't give her own fucking story to start her own fucking book.
Well, I guess the Spider-Verse is branching out an actual Spider-Verse.
Rapidly.
So you've
With
got
lots of books.
Yeah, Spider-Gwen,
Yeah, which
Spider-Bob,
fellas, really. And
Wolfgang and the Spider-Kids.
Apparently, Punk Spider-Man has generated quite a following.
It's a cool visual. And they brought back quite a few guys, like Spider-Man Noir was in there.
It's a novel visual.
Earlier on, when they were playing with all this, you saw the Spider-Man with 6 arms. Like, all the different universe. It's just so played out a concept to begin with.
That's what I've been saying for
the,
weeks.
The League of Brian Braddocks from back in Excalibur.
Yeah.
Even 2 years ago, the League of fucking Reed Richards.
Yes. And then the Council of Dooms or whatever the fuck they were. It's like, dude, we get it. There's we understand. Just
Hey, do you realize that the League of Reed Richards actually works as a Flight of the Conchords song?
it totally would.
Too many dicks on the dance floor.
Too many reeds in the council.
Yeah.
Too many reeds.
Too many reeds, not enough Sue. Too many reeds, not enough Sue.
Remember to tweet Brit.
But yeah, it's just it's played out to, and I like the idea that 616 Peter Parker is the pinnacle one that amuses me.
Yeah.
And the whole Morlun family and their wacky spider killing, people eating antics.
The Scion. She's protecting Silk by bringing her through different dimensions. And the Morlans are, of course, hunting them. They come across a town and encounter a couple of bullies, and there's a big fight, because you need a big fight.
Right. And who'd she have? She had Spider-Gwen with her, and was it Mayday or one of the other Spider girls?
Yeah, I didn't write it down.
Or was it Spider-Man Noir? Yeah, they moved
well,
it
they
back and
end
forth.
up in a 30s dimension finding Felicia Hardy's
Oh yeah, so it was Spider-Man Noir.
speakeasy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was Spider-Man Noir,
Which I never read. I never touched any of the noirs.
I think I sent those away.
Did you?
Pretty sure.
Did you read any of them, or just
Oh
that
yeah,
one?
no, I read the Spider-Man Noirs. Yeah.
Okay.
Spider-Man with a gun seems utterly pointless, though. So I was like, whatever. Where was I? Another team shows up to replace 30s Pete and Jess, and then Silk, of course, runs off on her own because there has to be tension for no reason.
What's fun about the book? First off, Greg Land is an amazing artist. My only problem with Greg Land is that I occasionally mistake him for Greg Horn, who also draws really hot women, but in a way different kind of way. So, on a mental level, I'm like, oh, I can't like that. But no, Greg Land can really draw. I like the idea that Jessica Drew, who is historically between the most responsible and the most irresponsible hero, now has to take care of the most irresponsible hero. Oh, by the way, Silk also got her own book.
Which we bought.
Did we?
Yes.
So that dynamic is kind of funny. And I like how when Silk was like complaining, and I loved the feel of her. Like, I've been living in a room with a fucking Walkman and New Coke for 25 years. Like, this shit is exciting. I'm riding a lizard down Main Street in the desert, surrounded by Pikachus. Like,
I was amused by that panel. I enjoyed that very much.
And
that page was really cool.
I liked that Jessica Drew was so realistic in her portrayal as Jessica Drew that she's like, dude, like, no, I will fuck up with you. Trust me. Like, she wanted to defend her right to be a fuck up, but at the same time, she's like, I'm trying to be responsible. Like, trust me. I drink with Wolverine. I do dumb shit. Like, I outdrink Wolverine. People don't do that and live.
They really don't.
So I like the dynamic of it a lot.
You'd have to be metahuman to do that.
It's just too many goddamn spiders.
Too many spiders on the dance floor.
And they keep killing them.
Yeah, because all they got to do is cook up another one. Oh, well, this one's socks are green.
Yeah.
He's the Spider-Man from 2289,
and they've used
56 dimension.
I have to give them credit that probably 60 to 75% of them have a basis in past Spider-Man storylines.
Yes.
So there's
that's
a decent
big
amount
bonus.
of research. Like
Spider-Ham.
Yeah, or Peter Porker. Even the Spider Monkey was from that all monkeyverse thing.
That's right. That's right.
Speedball the monkey and shit. Like, I have one of the Marvel Apes, the 4-issue miniseries.
You hated that with a passion.
I have. That will be one of my dollar from the dollar box articles when I get around to it. Somewhere between now and never.
All right, can we get Uncanny 28 over with?
One big crazy.
There's so much fucking talking going on.
And there had to be.
And there had to be, but just so much of it, man. It took me like 10 minutes to read this
Once
book.
again, we've got the world's most powerful mutant. And this one is definitely way deadlier than they usually are.
Yes.
Because most of the time they don't even show. We don't even know their mutant power yet, but it'll be off the charts. Makes the world's largest butterflies. That's off the charts. You should fix Cerebro. Like, you should totally work on that thing. And it drove me nuts because they literally did the same thing 3 months ago in Nightcrawler. Like,
Yeah.
world's most powerful mutant.
Yeah.
It's a horrifyingly stupid one. But this one is literally awe-inspiringly terrible. Like, I'm just destroying the world around me. And so, Scott Summers, and this is where they're really starting to rebuild that character in an interesting way, is so gung-ho for mutant rights that he's going to save this dude, that even Charles Xavier is like, no, shut that fucker down. You go in a box, and the box goes in the closet. Like, my porn gets a better fucking location than you do.
He's very optimistic about his chances to make this person not destroy the universe.
So his big plan is go into my brain. Now, I'm no expert,
That's right.
but if I were an incredibly powerful and fucked up mutant who was destroying things left and right because I didn't know how to control my powers, seeing Scott Summers' life would not lead me to want...
No, I cannot imagine what that character was thinking theoretically to make him believe that it was a good idea, that all the crap he's been through. I mean, the trial of Jean Grey alone would make this kid snap.
I married an evil clone of my ex-girlfriend who walked around in fucking Fredericks of stripper wear, kidnapping and murdering babies while riding a demon around the fucking roof.
That would drive... I mean, how could that not drive that kid crazy?
And the whole point is to get to the end where it's like, I believe in you. It's like, just say that. Like, don't do this. Just say
Yeah.
that.
I mean, how difficult could that have been? I mean, it makes for decent storytelling, but it kind of grates a little bit because, like, we think like that. You know, we take more than what's on the page. And it's like, dude, the Goblin Queen? Really? You're going to show him her?
Yeah, and then there's...
Poor Madeline Pryor?
Or Legion?
Yes!
Like, he's sitting there like, oh, history of mutants who have fucked up the entire world. It's like, why would you show me this?
Because that's got to be like, are you telling me that I can be better than these guys? Or are you telling me I'm on the same road as these guys?
Incredibly powerful mutants have hard lives, and you're way more powerful than all of these people.
And that benefits me from a philosophical standpoint. How?
Tensions run high in the Summers household. So and it's clear that's the whole point. Meanwhile, you've got this horrible conversation between the Beast and Storm about the role of mutants in the world, and the Avengers are off planet. Maybe they are. Maybe they're just dodging mutant phone calls.
I ain't gonna lie, that sequence was terrible. I didn't enjoy that part at all. I was like, God, come on, fellas. You were an Avenger. You know they don't fucking act like that.
Dude, Wolverine is an event. Like, you know, there's at least... Plus, you've got the goddamn uncanny Avengers. Just call those motherfuckers. The half-mutant team. You forget about that? Hey, your brother's causing trouble. Alex, can you give his hand? Rogue? Like, I think they're going to fucking show up, Beast. There's some really cool ideas that are occurring in this book. And... the idea of Summers versus Magneto, where you're not sure who's playing what role.
Right. That is a bit of tension that's pretty cool.
So it's still a great book, but this like storyline is killing me a little bit. And I felt like the art was a big step down. And I'm not usually the guy.
Really?
Like, go back to the conversation between Beast and Storm.
Bacallo? Really? let's find that real fast. The conversation between Beast and... Yes, actually, some of these pages don't look like Bacallo at all. Actually.
I don't think it was him. Or
No,
much of it wasn't.
Bacallo. Maybe it's this Townsend guy inking him. I don't know. Ah, yeah, no. Yeah. Actually, you know, honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, because I get in the moment and I don't really pay attention. I think about it later most of the time. But most of this art I wouldn't recognize as Bacallo.
Yeah, no, I definitely did not feel like... Some of it looked like him, quite a bit didn't.
Right. Let's take a half a second.
No, Chris Anka, cover art.
Oh, so where's Bacallo? Why is he on
Maybe
the
it
cover?
went off. But that Beast...
Did they screw up the credits on the cover?
Yep.
Huh. What do you know? Well, that explains a lot. So I'm no longer worried about that then.
No,
if it ain't him, it ain't him.
So I'm actually looking forward to as much as I didn't necessarily love this issue, I'm really looking forward to the next one.
Okay.
You know,
Let's take a second and go pee and get more scotch. We'll be right back. At any rate, we're back, we're juiced up, we're juiced out, and we're going to move on now to the one you've been dying to get to, and I have not been dying to talk about. Because frankly...
Let's talk about your feelings about Superior Iron Man 1 and 2.
All right, my feelings about Superior Iron Man 1 and 2 is... I don't like dick superheroes. I don't.
Okay.
He has turned into everything everyone thought he was, except he's now more harsh and mean about it. He was always a little arrogant. He was always like, well, I'll figure this out and everything's going to be fine. But he always twisted a little fun into that.
That's not entirely fair. And not through your fault. No, but that's my point. Is in the last, for years, Iron Man was kind of awesome.
Yeah.
And it's one of the few books you can go back. I feel
you can go back at least 7 years and be happy with almost any single issue you pick up.
Right, but they've always, for the last 10 to 15 years, there's always a hint of dick to Tony Stark.
Yeah.
It's always, everyone, particularly if he's not in his own book. If you have a guest appearance fight, it's like, oh, you're kind of an arrogant ass, Tony.
Yeah. Well, that's because they got to make the star of the book look better. That's understood. That's kind of okay.
Because Iron Man will always be kind of awesome. But now, they're just full on no, he's a douchebag. He's not. He's fucking Iron Man. He saved the world about a bajillion goddamn times, and he spent his own money doing it.
Yeah. But the thing is, this is the premise of this, and I'm sure anybody listening already knows this, is there was some magical hoo-ha going on in Axis, and now a bunch of heroes and villains have had their personalities inverted. Even Sam Wilson over in
we'll get to that one because that particularly irks me.
Mighty Avengers and fucking
Luke
Cage as well are just raging cock bastards. And even as a temporary thing, that's just not what I dig in my heroes. So Iron Man, who has been a bit of a personal hero to me.
Yep. I mean, he's the techno...
He really is the epitome of everything that a computer / engineer / real life person has really wanted to be. And I ain't gonna lie about it. I'm 43 and I want to be Iron Man. Fuck
he's
that.
Not your favorite hero, but he is the one that you most aspire. And he's also the one who's
most closely identify with. Yes.
By far.
Yeah.
His future now ideals and, technology to make the world a better place. That's where you live.
But he's in the meat of these particular issues. He's developed an app through Extremis 3 that will now make anyone who has a smartphone suddenly beautiful and brilliant and perfect as long as they can pay for it, which fits with the character as he's been transformed into.
Okay, let me...
But it's still a terrible idea because a phone isn't going to fucking do that.
Oh, yeah. No, Hi, kids. This is Dr. T.O. Morrow with today's Comic Science Moment. In regards to Tony Stark's phone app that delivers the Extremis virus directly to you with no pain, immediate fucking benefits, and not 3 days I'm a vomiting coma bug thing. Comic Science tells us, yeah, no, that's not fucking happening.
Yeah,
this has been Dr. T.O. Morrow with today's Comic Science Moment.
It's excessive even for comics.
It's ridiculous. It's so bad. Dan Slott's like, no.
Scott Snyder is going, what are you doing?
I got a character that drilled a hole in her own head, and that made more sense than that shit.
That was Grant Morrison.
I will make fun of whoever did that.
The hole. What was the blank? The blank. That's what her name was.
The whole concept. See what I did there?
Yes.
Is all right. Tony. First off, you're already making Tony Stark a dick all the time. So that's not really a difference in his personality. And then not only is he using the extremis, which is like...
Yeah, it's really only his methods and his verbal... He isn't even doing repartee
This
anymore.
is
just
bad writing, is what it comes down
is
to.
pretty bad.
It's bad writing for a couple reasons. One, you have Tony drinking again, so you've just thrown away
all that effort.
a lot of dynamic storytelling.
Yeah.
And a lot of character build-up to like, oh, no, I have a lot of drinking to make up for. Ha, ha, ha.
Yeah, I mean, I really disliked it when he did that during Fear Itself. But he had a point to it then, and he was able to claw his way back from it.
And he also, like, it was a big thought process.
Yeah,
like,
it was
made out to be a big deal.
Yes. And now it's just like, well, I'm a douche, so I get to act like a douche, and that means whiskey.
And then the extremis is the single coolest, awful idea that's shown up in Iron Man in a long time.
That's true.
It has led to phenomenal storylines, huge health issues. Like, there's a reason that when Gillen restarted it, the first thing he did was have Tony stomp extremis in the ground. There's no more. He killed off the lady who made it because it's a dangerous concept.
And now this guy, well
everybody's got it.
And the editors. I don't want to
blame him entirely.
Just say that Tom Taylor, which still amuses me to fuck.
Yeah, absolutely. I enjoy you in unwritten, but go back to starring in comic books and not writing them, sir.
He's doing well enough with the direction he has been given to take things.
How much of this is him, how much is it them, that's fair enough. I can't answer that. I will say, though, that it's terrible. It's a terrible thing to do.
Yeah, I'm not happy with it.
Because if something is that dangerous, to put it out there, even in a lightened form, people tweak shit all the time.
Oh, yeah.
How many things can you do with a normal computer that are awful for the world?
Right. And Tony himself went after he had two huge, important arcs about technology he made getting into the wrong fucking hands.
Yep. No, I mean, honestly...
So being a douche or not...
Like Armor Wars 2,
yeah.
Extremis, and the first arc of Gillen's book,
yeah,
all based on the idea that that's a terrible plan.
And now that's all out the window.
Plus, let's be honest, like, if you control something as... Let's say that you're douche Tony Stark. All right? Like, you wake up one day, you're like, hey, I still sleep with supermodels, but now I enjoy it less because I'm different. Whatever. Dumb! Let's say that all this happens.
Yeah.
You control Extremis. Do you, if you're going to let it out into the world, sell it to supervillains, the highest possible bidder? Or do you fucking dilute it so somebody else can undilute it?
Yeah.
Drop it through your tech phone, dumbest idea in years, for $99 a day.
There's just no way that this idea comes out good.
It's a horror. Like, the business model's ridiculous. He'd be arrested. I'm pretty because of my phone. Hi, I'm from the FCC and the FDA and
and the Federal Trade Commission.
You know, like, oh my God, would this get crushed on every level? So the thought process isn't even there. It's just not a strong, auspicious
It's amazing
start.
how rapidly a writer can forget a regulatory commission.
But unless they want one to be a dick, then they're all over the place. Like, ha, 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 ha. So we have all this, none of which is good. And then it's so much worse. And we lean towards the cynical, unfortunately. We tend to crush. And even stuff we like, sometimes we're mean about.
Well,
Yeah, what's in a title? Ha, ha, ha. Here's my point on this. Like, when Matt Fraction left Iron Man, I wanted to kick a puppy. Like, the idea, and I was a little tired of him at the end, but it was such a good run for so long. The idea that they were going to end it upset me. And then Gillen comes in, and you're like, holy shit, this is better. How the fuck is that possible?
yeah. Hadn't read Iron Man that fucking good since the 80s.
Yep. And honestly, as much as I love 80s Iron Man, this was better.
It was.
Fraction and Gillen
It really was.
are peaks of Iron Man all time.
Yeah. And then Gillen said, well, guess what, fellas? And we go, holy shit!
It was ridiculously strong. So let's take those two phenomenal things and follow
throw them
them
out the fucking window.
It's like, oh, here's a phenomenal dinner. Here's a better dessert. Here's a big steaming pile of monkey shit. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, if you gave me dog shit and elk shit and then monkey shit, I'm not going to be happy with the monkey shit. But if you give me friggin' steak and baked Alaska, whatever the hell that is, but it's a very popular dessert, and then follow with monkey shit, I'm probably going to be more upset.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like, if I've just had two big piles of shit and then you throw monkey shit at the end, I'm like,
You're like, whatever, it's still shit.
There's more banana in this one. Like, it's nastier.
I think there's a nut there.
Yeah. But the fact of the matter is that I've developed a certain tolerance for the shit plates that keep coming up. But if you take two phenomenal, beautiful things away from me and follow it with, hey, like, I just crapped on your sofa, I'm going to be more upset, and I'm more upset by this. Like, if nothing else, I'm pro Secret War if it kills this motherfucker. Like, this is a kill it with fire book.
I'm right on with you. If this thing leaves, because God in heaven, they can't possibly make it last as long as Superior Spider-Man can.
No, it wouldn't. It would get canceled. Like, people are going to drop this book in droves.
I hope so, because this is blech.
I mean, the only thing that protects this book for a while is how big a player Tony Stark has been.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Tony Stark was a lead Avenger, and one of the Avengers is very interesting because there's certain characters that it never feels right without.
Yeah.
And you have to switch them out on occasion. So, but it always comes back to Wasp, Thor, Tony, and Cap.
Wasp hasn't been around for a long time, though.
Intriguing, right?
Yeah.
But every time you read the Avengers, you're like, you know what? One of those four, like, you know, you can't always have all four of them, and sometimes you can't have any of them.
Yeah.
But those are the ones you're always like, where's this guy? Like, Tony would have handled this.
Right.
But
right.
Tony wasn't a core player for years.
No, for a long time. You're right.
Even when they were telling you he was, like, his stuff was always in like, his book didn't have cosmic fucking, like, compared to Spider-Man, who wasn't a core in terms of the way they looked at him, but his shit was everywhere. Like, Tony wasn't on that level, and he has been for a long time. Like, he's involved, like, his fingers touch everything.
Everything.
So, people want to read the Tony Stark like that, because if you like Marvel, and we're well past the days in the 60s where you had to read everything with a Marvel logo on it.
Yeah.
Like, Speedball made sure that shit was done for everyone.
It's a very good point.
But
have another biscuit.
It's going to protect it for a while, but this needs to get a fuck ton better.
I think so, yeah.
And, like, right now, what book were you looking forward to more than Iron Man in the last 2 years?
Very few.
Is there one, honestly?
I've turned out to like Bendis' X-Men a lot. I really have. I do look forward to Miss Marvel a fuckload. Yep. Absolutely. And not so much Captain Marvel. I do enjoy it, but
it doesn't compare.
If it's late, I don't give a shit.
Yep.
You know, if it skips a month, I'm like, I got 50 other books. As much as I enjoy
it's more of an up-down, like, and we'll get to that because there's one in here, but it's like high point, low point, high point, low point.
But, and I don't look forward to any DCs. So, Iron Man is really the one that I've looked forward to the most.
The longest.
The longest.
Closest was Green Lantern, and that imploded sometime
ago.
ago.
Yeah. Although I couldn't resist, when I ordered this month, I did get the 2001 cover just to have it.
How many weird covers did you end up going with?
Well, I mean, I got the movie covers that were available for anything we get regularly.
Right.
And then
so we'll both get the Sinestro one.
Right.
I got the Catwoman one.
Right.
So what did you go with?
Well, I got Catwoman. I got one of my own Catwoman.
I figured, but
yeah. And then I got the 2001 Green Lantern, and I didn't really add anything else.
No.
I just if I was already getting the book, I made sure I got the movie.
If I were in
cover.
a shop, I might buy the Grayson.
That was pretty nice.
Yeah.
But I don't like that book. And
Well,
I
we
don't
haven't read it, but you don't like what they've done with Grayson is what it comes down to.
I read 2 issues of it.
Did you really? You didn't
Yeah.
tell me that.
Got it from the Goodwill.
Really?
Yeah, remember? You remember.
No.
We were there. Anyway.
Oh, yeah, not 1 and 2, like 2 randoms.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I do remember.
All right, so anyway, that is all I want to deal with Superior Iron Man right now. I'd rather go move on, get the episode out the way. We're an hour now.
Oh, wow.
So, She-Hulk 10. Steve finally gets to tell his side, and of course there's Nazis. You cannot have the Steve Rogers book without the Nazis.
It really does. There's no point.
So he gets to tell this entire story that was just told the last issue from his perspective.
Which is monumentally different.
Very, very different.
Patsy Walker somehow gets a secret file that fixes everything, but they can't reveal it because they can't reveal it. It's a secret file.
Well, I mean, they didn't obtain it properly, so they can't admit it into evidence properly.
I'll tell you something. I enjoyed this. Obviously, in the end, Cap gets cleared, and Dr. Faustus, which is that Red Skull sidekick that I'm always trying to remember, and I've referenced like 30 times on this without his name, turns out to be the villain at the end, which is hysterical to me. But
that guy kills me, man.
there's an interesting thing in this book. It's almost, and this is going to sound weird, it's almost reverse sexism.
How's that?
All right, so everything I was upset about with Daredevil turns out to have been a ploy of Cap. He wanted everything to be proven in court of law so there'd be no question.
Right.
He wants to go to his grave, and he's turning into 800 years old, so he's expecting this to happen in like seconds.
Yeah.
He wants to go to his grave, particularly with Sharon back being his consort.
Right.
You know, Old Bones Creek is all I'm saying. He wants to go to his grave with a clear conscience and a clear
Record.
So he wants a man that he respects and a lawyer to come after him with everything.
Sure.
So he doesn't want some weird, not public defender, district attorney who might, hide from Cap. He goes and makes Daredevil, Matt Murdock, go after him.
Yeah, which is exactly the kind of thing that Cap would do.
Right. So bear with me. Then he hires She-Hulk to defend him because he wants to win.
Which kind of says...
She-Hulk's the better lawyer.
Kind of does, yeah.
Except in their all recorded history of comics, and you've read a lot more She-Hulk than I have.
She doesn't win that fucking often.
She's kind of an awful attorney, and Matt Murdock has consistently proven to be a brilliant attorney.
Yeah, it's true. But it's her book, so you
Right,
give her the
but
concession.
it's almost a reverse sexism thing because it's like, oh, well, she has to be smarter.
Well, I think that's more that it's her book.
Fair. That's true, but it really irked me because it's so not even.
No, it really isn't. But again, you got to
Her
give
book.
a concession to the star of the book.
I will say, though, like, of all the She-Hulks, and I've read a few of the Dan Slotts, nowhere near the level you have. I read some of the Gerbers. I read fucking Byrne, obviously.
Yeah.
Charles Soule has the best, for obvious reasons, take on her as a lawyer by far.
Sure. They didn't. The rest, everybody else really tried to shy away from it. They were like savage She-Hulks.
Well, 'cause,
and Byrne was all about making her funny, which was fine because there's that cover where he's handing her fucking jump rope and she's naked. It just amused the shit out of me.
The Byrne run was awesome. Although I think his return to it was basically the period where John Byrne started to go insane. So
Yeah, he was.
you can almost earmark it like, what the fuck?
I think I may have to get some old She-Hulks, man.
What, the Savage?
Yeah, no, the sensational. Toadman Byrne.
You-
Toadman.
You have them.
Very few.
You have
Very
the first 8.
Yeah, but that's hardly
Well,
all of them.
No, you're missing a decent amount of the second return period, but you have, like, his original run was only 1 through 8.
Really?
Yeah, he was done on issue 8.
Oh,
So you have the entire complete first run of Byrne.
I hadn't realized that.
Yeah, it's tiny.
Okay, well that's different.
Dude,
then.
come on, I'm the Byrne guy.
Did I question you?
No, and I appreciate that. But yeah, I like the Charles Soule take. I'm going to miss this book. I wonder if they had gone, like, I don't know what could, like, it's a strange book, but maybe the combination of the strange book and the Polito art, and I like Polito as an artist.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe if they'd gone with a more conventional art style and a comedic take.
And they didn't interrupt that perfectly fine run with that horrifying art.
Wow,
I saw a couple of people mention that. It's like, I don't know if that really...
That's one of my #4 books.
You're shaking your head. I just have to say that because this is audio.
I have cameras.
Don't say that.
I so don't have cameras. Dude, I can't even operate my phone. You think I have hidden cameras?
You got a camera on the phone. You may have figured it out.
I take terrible pictures. It's awful. Like, dude, you've seen me struggle with light switches.
I have.
That's not even a joke. And not like drunk or anything. You've seen me like, why is this not turning on the light I want? Because you're hitting the wrong switch, Bill. Like, shit is fucked when it comes to me and technology. All right, back.
But we're going to miss She-Hulk.
Absolutely. It's got what, 2 more?
Yeah, just 2 more.
Just ending on 12?
Yep.
I don't think I'd buy a graphic of it, though. It's a fun read, but I don't think I'd revisit it very often.
Probably not.
Like,
but there's a lot of books like that.
Yeah, no, it's not a negative. It's just, not everything needs to be, in your library.
This is not a pull it down from the shelves every Christmas book.
Exactly. Like Dark Knight Returns. Like, hey, I think I'll revisit that today. I was actually rereading the Darwin Cook Parkers last night.
Ah, nice.
All right.
So, that gives us Captain Marvel 9, where Lila Cheney shows up and the girls go nuts.
I did not like this issue.
No?
Not anti the book at all. It was fine. It's just Lila Cheney is such a stupid character.
Come on.
Intergalactic rock star whore.
Oh, stop with that word.
All right, fine.
And as far as
Intergalactic pop star.
As far as we...
Your problem was with the word rock, right?
No. As far as we know, the only person she's consistently banged was Sam. So don't worry.
Campbell. That's right. I totally forgot. No, I could care less.
So anyway, Lila Cheney shows up, and Cap doesn't really want her around there, but Teak is a bit of a fan.
And so is
she's
Cap.
She's a huge fucking fan.
Everyone is. And that's part of what irks me about Lila Cheney, is everyone is like this huge, like she's like Prince and the Beatles and the Rolling Stones.
Well, they don't have any of those likeness rights, so they have to have a character like that somewhere.
Do you ever think about how much Dazzler probably hates Lila Cheney? Like,
I hadn't until now, but she's got to despise her.
But like, I'm super powered. I'm a rock star. Why do I have a shitty disco album that 8 people own, including the Reverend Mad Duck? And fucking, you tore.
He does, kids.
You tore Black Holes. Like, what the fuck?
It turns out that Lila is fucked up, and she can't get her new album out because she has writer's block. Which is going to happen. I mean, look at the last 3 Stones albums. If that ain't writer's block, I don't know what the fuck is.
You couldn't tell me anything about the last 3 Stones albums.
And I wonder why.
You could tell me about anything about the fucking 7 before that.
No, I couldn't.
So,
Voodoo Lounge?
Yes, that is a Stones album. I believe it falls in the last 10. So yes, somehow, by the grace of fucking God, you were able to knock that out of the park. And I'm incredibly irked by that.
Beast of Burden was a terrible song.
I love that song.
Yeah, you would.
You were, dude. Do not talk to me about the Rolling. Like, no. Like, turn off the microphone. We can't even have it. Like, no. Me sitting there going like,
now,
whoa.
she's been on this planet.
If I were to start talking about Big Daddy Kane, you would just slap me. Like, some shit is just not okay, and that's one thing. And the Stones.
She's been on the planet Aladna, trying not to get married. Because apparently, if you're a rock star and you show up to this planet and you don't speak in their stupid iambic pentameter or whatever the fuck it was,
rhyme.
Then rhyme.
It was rhyme. It was not iambic pentameter. It was literally making things like would and could go together at the end of each sentence.
Yeah, I get that, which is a terrible gimmick to have in a book. But she couldn't do it anyway,
like
so I guess
Demon?
that means you have... Yes. But not everybody had to do it in Demon, though. Only Demon had to do it in Demon.
or the minstrel in Gru.
Well, but that's Gru. I mean, who reads Gru? You and me. You and me, dummy.
All right,
we read Gru. Pay attention.
My anger was starting to take over. It's like I see red and cheese dip.
And apparently, if you don't rhyme on this planet, you have to marry the prince.
The logic was somehow she had transported there first, like way back in the day. It was her home planet, her inspiration planet, her safety planet.
Yeah.
And she somehow had proposed to the prince. Like, I didn't fully understand it because it was confusing.
I totally didn't follow it at all, actually.
The prince has to get married to become the king. And I loved how the king looked like Elvis. That was pretty fucking amusing. I'll give them a point for that. And Captain Marvel has really become Star Trek. Like, she's just going to stupid, weird, semi-human looking planet to stupid human, like the same fucking thing. It's like now they're in togas.
Now they're Nazis. Now they're Roman gladiators.
So, the woman that wants to marry the prince, who looks just like a horrible person, like I gotta give them props on the art, because like if that chick showed up, you're like, you're the devil. Like you have to be the bad guy. There's no way you like cookies and puppies.
There's no way you like cookies and puppies. That may be a title. You have to be a villain. There's no way you like cookies and puppies.
But and of course, Captain Marvel, being a superhero, just fucks her up after they give her a false start of security. And then Tick marries the prince, and you had this moment where Captain Marvel's all like, you know, horny for him because he's shirtless and Bowie-esque. Like,
and what he wants?
Bowie-esque.
Oh, Bowie. David Bowie.
He had the little lightning bolt over the eye and the haircut. And I'm like, well, dude, it was just unnecessary. And also, why is Captain Marvel defending Lila Cheney from this chick who's a superhero? Like, shouldn't Lila just teleport her halfway through the wall and be like, yeah, fuck it?
Because that's Carol.
I like the book. And
some things you just have to concede to the character.
I'll give you that. I like the book, and this didn't take away from the book at all. I just didn't like this issue.
Yeah, well, on a comparative scale of the rest of the series,
like compared to like Rocket Raccoon and the Flurkins, I'm like, what? No, this was like that huge stop where you think you're gonna hit a turtle in the middle of the road. Like, no! Unless you're the sick bastards that run them all over and clean up turtle guts. It was a marginal thing. There's some light things, and she gets this note from Lila, like, oh, I have this note in case I hopped into you in all of recorded space.
Yeah, that's a bit of a stretch. Oh, I was hanging around in the Statue of Liberty, and I decided to go on tour, but your pals gave me this note for you. Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I just, Lila...
Come on.
Lila is not a character that I find appealing at all.
You know, where has Lila Cheney shown up outside of X-Men books? New Mutants.
I couldn't name a thing.
Neither could I.
No, X Factor.
A mutant book.
No, yeah, just because you kind of changed the question.
Right, outside of mutant books.
Then nowhere that I know of.
Yeah, so how would Carol even know Lila Cheney?
Everyone knows Lila Cheney.
She's
Space's greatest rock star.
Personally enough to get a note sent to her.
She's the equivalent of Chris Tucker in The Fifth Element. And they wear the same outfits.
And it must be green, okay?
I have to tell you, though, having said all this, I totally now want to read a Dazzler versus Lila Cheney. Like, that shit would be epic.
That would be great. We ought to tweet Kelly Sue about...
That would be an awesome
I'm writing that shit down. I want to remember to do that. Tweet Kelly Sue.
I think
speak because I'm not saying this while I write
Kelly
it
Sue DeConnick is a writer that I have grown to appreciate much more. Like there were a few false starts early on. Like she got a lot of praise, and the books that I picked up I didn't love. I really like this take on Captain Marvel, and this is not pulling away from it all. But this is not like if you were introducing somebody to this book, you would not hand them this issue.
Nah, this is not the one you'd give them.
No.
At any rate.
But you wouldn't hide it, be like, no, I didn't buy that one. No, you give them, you'd be like, fine, you can read that one, but you want to go back to Rocket and the Flurkins.
Right. Now,
best band name ever.
Rocket and the Flurkins. That's a great idea. I don't want to talk about these books, but we're going to anyway. because I bought the fuckers and I was subjected to reading them. And that means you got to be too, and that means we got to speak.
What do you got?
I have Captain America and the Mighty Avengers.
Well, first off, I would argue with the use of the word mighty.
This is like the 12th string Avengers.
This
is the ones that would barely get into Great Lakes.
No, these guys would thump Great Lakes. This is the all power, no personality team.
That's a good point.
You've got Spectrum, Monica Rambeau,
Right.
who used to be Captain Marvel,
who used to lead the Avengers herself,
And
the
now-
only Avengers team herself.
now is barely even recognizable on her own team.
Yeah.
With a new name.
This
Then
is a weird fucking book, man.
you've got the new Power Man, like on Luke Cage's team. White Tiger, who's basically only on here because of her popularity in that fucking Spider-Man cartoon, that manga-looking thing.
I have no idea. I've never seen.
Oh, you haven't seen that.
I don't want to see it.
No,
I already don't want to see it.
It's
Don't convince me into it.
it's a teenage Spider-Man hanging out with teenage Luke Cage and Danny Rand
and go fuck yourself.
Nova and
Stop!
White Tiger.
I said, cut it out.
You didn't say stop. You said go fuck yourself.
Stop.
Now you said stop. I'm not going to, but
oh my
that's
God
what
in heaven.
I'm just saying.
Such a weird book. Sam somehow.
Oh wait, no, hold on.
despite
Let's
being a
finish this
complete
team.
Dick.
'Cause,
Okay, yeah.
Clow the Magician.
Who is that?
And I'm missing one, I think.
Blue Marvel.
Oh, what the fuck? And She-Hulk,
Who I totally forgot till this very minute.
right? She-Hulk as well.
Blue Marvel is another one of those characters where, oh yeah, he's been around all the time. We just haven't been talking to him. And he's insanely powerful. He's like Sentry Dude. But we don't talk about him. But he's been there.
Yeah.
But we don't talk about him. But he's been here.
You realize every time you ask me a question, you're talking about him, which we don't do, so you need to stop. He's been here. He's way more powerful, and he's awesome.
He's not awesome.
No, none of these things are fucking true. He hasn't been there. It's a horrible dynamic, and then I got to deal with the fucking, not only Luke Cage being an asshat,
Who has now turned the Avengers into a corporation with kind of everybody else's consent, but he keeps making deals that he's not consulting them about.
right? Well, he didn't even realize that. And like this is She-Hulk, the super lawyer that beat Matt Murdock, basically created the Avengers as a franchise, and then had Luke Cage sign all this paperwork without telling him that.
That was a bit of a skip. What do you even call that? I mean,
Unethical.
yes, that's what it is.
Dude, in both, and here's my other thing, and this is one of, because I'm a continuity guy, as you know.
Yeah.
You're less so, but you're pretty much still, if continuity is the 50 from 1 to 100, you're in the 47 to 53 range. Like, you don't veer that far to either side. I'm a full 75 pro continuity. Am I wrong?
You are not wrong, which is why it was so weird that you argued so vehemently for the new 52 all
'cause
that time ago.
The concept had potential, and the execution was monkey poop, to refer to my previous conversation. However, getting back to this, if you're going to have two books with the same character come out at the same time,
They need to be
both
fucking
number ones.
consistent.
They should not even consistent. He should have the same personality.
Yes, they should be even with each other.
Like, fine, different writers, different fucking viewpoints, fine. Maybe not complete diametric opposite. Like, Sam's the biggest dick outside of Luke Cage. Like, you're rooting, the villain is nowhere near as bad as those two. And then
Because the villains have had their personality swapped too.
and then you've got, we're the other Avengers. You got the Scarlet Witch in there, and Thor, who's currently armless, drowning in the bottom of the ocean, supposedly. So, the only thing I liked about both these issues, by far, by a country mile,
Right?
was the Reform Plunderer was hysterical.
He was. I did enjoy reading his character.
Like, I would buy those issues just for that fucking full page of the Plunderer being like, yes, we're going to give it to the poor.
Are we supposed to be stealing this stuff? Because I think we should be doing something better with what we're doing. And you know what? Fuck it. There's a homeless guy down the street.
No,
let's buy him a house.
The Plunderer was beyond awesome. Like, if you box of shites, I'm putting my name in for that one because I want the fucking heroic Plunderer. The rest of this thing was garbage. I was
not pleased with this.
I will give credit. They reference a lot to previous Mighty Avengers. Like, it's staying within the continuity of that book. The problem is I haven't read any of those fucking things. So all I have are a bunch of footnotes, like, refer to this issue that I haven't read.
Yeah.
It's like the old school Giffen fucking Lobo references to nothing. And eventually they're like, aren't you tired of footnotes?
I forgot all about that. Let's go back to a book we do like.
What do you got? How many more we got?
Just a couple.
Okay.
Just a couple. Silver Surfer, Spidey, and Black Widow.
All right.
That's all. So, Silver Surfer 7.
I'm now going to reference my previous conversation about Thor.
Which is very alliterative. Thank you very much.
I'm good at that.
Silver Surfer 7.
Here we are.
Yes.
The reason I didn't want to talk about this key aspect of Thor till I got to this is because here in Silver Surfer, let's reference this issue very quickly. It was a nice, light filler issue. This is exactly what we've been clamoring for.
Yes.
Single issue adventure. That's awesome.
And I liked it because I got it.
Yep. And it was done well. It wasn't, because we got a few of them where you're like, this was an awful single issue.
Yes.
Like, this was, they are in space together. They encounter something. It builds their relationship forward, but the focus is on a resolved thing. And this felt like Star Trek in the best sense.
Yeah.
And I love the whole space entity as deep sea fish with its own beacon.
That amused me. Little pilot fish out there, the gigantic pilot fish out
there.
No,
it was awesome. There were a lot of cool things in this. And we also see, what's her name? I never remember. Dawn?
Dawn Miss Polka Dot.
Yeah. But has developed a relationship not only with Silver Surfer, and I have to say, although I like both characters, like I love the way they're writing Norrin Rad, and I really like her personality. The romance between the two is not exactly the comic book romance. It's
not yet.
But they're moving forward at a pace where you want it to be epic, and it's not. It would be my one thing. Having said that, though, she's also developed a relationship with his surfboard.
Yeah, which amuses me.
And Thor has developed a relationship with Thor's hammer. So there's this weird Marvel women and inanimate objects thing going on.
I don't know that you can really make a clear-cut comparison to the hammer.
Really? She talks to the board.
Yeah.
She talks to the hammer.
The board reacts. The hammer doesn't give a shit.
The hammer is telling her where to go.
Was it?
Yep. How? You took me here. You knew where to go. It's literally saying that.
Huh.
It's a totally odd, assumedly accidental thing, but it's really weird to happen at the same time.
Only you would notice that shit. Seriously.
That's why you have me on this damn podcast.
Well, there's that too. But fruit pies, for God's sake.
Oh, that was awesome.
You must read this book just so you can get the fruit pies reference.
Oh my God, I was so happy because I've actually considered when I was younger and pretended to be ambitious. Like if I ever got a chance to write a comic book, I would bring back some of the villains from the fruit pie things as regular villains. So I was so excited by this.
I was just getting a little cramped there.
Okay. I was totally wondering why you were standing. I freely admit it.
So it's a fun book.
It really is. It really is.
It's a joy.
I did not know how well this book was going to go. This would be one that you buy the graphic for.
Sure.
Totally a great read.
Which leaves us with just a couple left. It's almost time to go home. Because if I have too much more scotch, I'm staying here.
Spare room's all yours.
So, that gives us
4 a.m. So
Amazing Spider-Man 9 and 10. Wow.
I don't even want to talk about these. Like, I don't hate this book.
Big.
at all. I like Dan Slott's Spider-Man. The art looks great. The story's moving along. It's just so convoluted. It's so hard to explain. Like, there are 2 bajillion Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Superior Spider-Man has built his own team of alternate Spider-Man.
Right. They've been hanging out in the other dimension. They've got a lot of seemingly very powerful Spider-Man with them. Silk and Pete beat up Avalanche, which amused me.
Morlun has about 6 families. There's the twins. There's the intellectual. There's the huge one. Is there another girl?
I think so.
And then
there's the one
dad.
who can never please the dad.
Yeah. Well, that seems to be everyone but Morlun. Yeah. So maybe 7, but there's a lot of creep factor, and spider people are dying left and right. You got the Captain Universe Spider-Man. It's. Do you know Captain Universe actually got introduced in a Micronauts book?
I believe it. I totally believe it. Hey, they won the battle.
That and Howard Chaykin was actually the artist on Micronauts for a while.
Really?
Yeah, after Golden.
Guy's fucking everywhere.
Yeah, like, he's so dynamic now and separate from those things, but yes, he was all over the place in Marvel back in the day.
That's just insanity. I know virtually nothing about Micronauts.
But yeah, it's not a concept that I want. Like, I can't delve into these books. It's just too convoluted to talk about.
There's far too many characters floating around.
Spider-Man is trying to be protective of Silk and Mayday and Silk and
the baby,
Spider-Gwen.
And he's got. I mean, they're all spider-powered characters. He's got to let them run. He's got to figure out, he's got a plan. He's got to work out a method to defeat this fucking family.
Well, you know, he came in last, and like most of them have already had horrible encounters. He thought Morlun was dead. Like,
yeah,
there is a hint that they clone themselves so you can kill one and they come right back. You got Spider Monkeys and Spider Ham and fucking Spider Noir and Spider Brian Braddock and just. But
Ben Reilly shows up, for God's sake.
Yes, like,
and the Morlans. This was creeping me the fuck out, man. They argue over meals of Spider-Man.
It was nasty. You got to give credit though. Like, Silk is the bride and Ben Reilly's the other.
Yeah.
Now Kane is dead
as far as we know,
in 616, right?
Yeah.
So even if he shows up in another one, he's not. But yeah, so they have a whole agenda. 616, once again, is being revealed to be the core world. There's a lot of clever things happening, and I do think that if you like Spider-Man, you can go back and read this graphic, but if you're not reading the 18 things that are attached to it, this is some confusing shit.
It's difficult to keep up with.
So I don't want to spend like 10 minutes going through these 2 issues because it's convoluted, and without everything...
It's cohesive enough
that you can get by, but it's not on par with like Spider Island, where you could go beginning to end,
right, and just knock it out and call it even.
The Spider-Verse is expanding at an exponential rate, and I'm not sure that's a good thing. We are going to do Silk. We are not doing Spider-Gwen.
No, because that's just too much. I mean, really, just stop, okay? Because these things are all going to get canceled inside of 24 issues.
You know what?
I would be shocked if Spider-Gwen lasted.
Spider-Woman could last.
Spider-Woman might. Silk, it's difficult to say. She's a new character. Some people like her, but not a whole lot of buzz around her.
Well, they also hint at Silk having feelings for Ben Reilly, which offsets the Peter thing.
Mm-hmm.
Although, if they go back to, if they do have a Secret War and everything gets reverted, do I just get Peter and Mary Jane and shit is less insane for a while?
That would be nice.
I could handle that.
Yeah. Not everything has to be breaking the world.
Yep.
And that's the thing.
And that's why fucking Dan Slott on Silver Surfer is so goddamn good. It's like cosmic stories with no fucking point to them whatsoever.
Yeah.
And they're awesome.
Yes. Anyway,
Home stretch
get
time.
this fucking night over with. It's been fun.
Ow.
What?
I don't know. I just make shit up.
You do. Yeah, what? No. Anyway, we've made it through an entire year of Black Widow. And the media is targeting that while she's on a mission in Somalia.
With the
Right.
Howling Commandos.
With the Howling Commandos, which was kind of cool to see.
I love that the Howling Commandos still exist as a
Yes!
team.
Now, the Avengers, Maria, and the President are all involved to some degree or another. And on the way back home, Nat gets a call, and Isaiah is killed. Now she has her revenge motive.
This is issue 12?
This is 12.
All right. This is just, it's just dark. I keep wanting this book to be awesome, and it keeps not going there.
Honestly, when I was filling out the form last night,
Debated?
I had a difficult time deciding whether I would get 15 or not.
You know what? If a couple of the books that we're starting are decent,
It's easy to drop Black Widow.
you know, like, honestly, I just feel like their take and my take on this character are completely different at this
Well,
point.
they are, and so is and I'm right with you with that. When I hear super spy, I want to read a book about fucking espionage.
And I defended this. Like, I didn't like it at first, and then I'm like, you know what? We're forgetting that her whole brain just got tweaked in Winter Soldier.
Right.
And she's a different character right now. She's, like, years back from where she was. But she was never this morose.
Yeah.
Even when she was using fucking Hawkeye as a tool, she wasn't this big a dick.
And things, you know, I don't like the assassin thing. The let's kill people for money routine. You want to steal some state secrets. That's
You know
great.
what? I think that has never bothered me, but I read and watch a lot more spy crap than you do, and there's always that element. Even, you know, Bond has played at the idea, like, go take this guy out. Like, it's one factor of it. They're playing it up way too much in this,
Yeah.
but it's inevitable. On the other hand, though, just shut the fuck up. Just stop. Have ice cream. Fucking play with a kitten. You own one. Like, do something that makes you not be a morose Russian pain in the ass. And after 12 issues of putting up with this stupid attorney character who I did not like, it goes nowhere?
Yeah, I didn't like him either. He wasn't particularly bright. He didn't have that great an influence upon her. None of his suggestions about her behavior or choices, they went... Bad sentence structure there.
Yeah.
His suggestions about her activities and viewpoints went in one ear and out the other. So he didn't really matter as a character.
No, they established that he cared about her.
I'll
give them that.
Sure, yeah.
Like, not romantically, but, you know,
That was clear,
he was in
yeah.
her life. But they didn't make him important enough that the loss of him would push her anywhere.
Right. They're going to try to use that for that.
And I'm sure they will, but it's
But
not
it
going
wasn't
to.
clear that she gave one shit about him.
Even if she does, it doesn't. We don't.
Yeah. It's exactly.
You have to build. If you're going to build a character up to sacrifice him, you actually have to build them up.
Yeah.
It's a step in the process. But if you miss a step, you come home too hard on the next one, and shit hurts.
Right. Having established that, I think it's time for Betty Buys.
That's very possible.
Especially since you got to get up at 5.
4. I gotta be at work at 5.
Right. Blech. New job. Well, I'm not fucking with you.
No, I know. It's just sad.
At any rate, that's the end of the episode, and we love to leave you with, as you know it well know.
Go
ahead.
Bless you. Bless you. I say bless you, say bless you, say bless you. Bless you, fuckers, and I wanna go home. Hey!
Good night, kids.
The Mean Geek is recorded live at the Reverend Mad Duck's apartment whenever the hell we can get to it. Find us on Facebook, Stitcher, Twitter under @TheMeanerGeek. Subscribe to us through RSS.
Or we can be located at our own site, www.themeangeek.com. And most importantly of all, you can find us as a proud member of the Comics Podcast Network.
Email us directly at TheMeanerGeek@gmail.com.
Can I drink now?
You may.